Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Looks like we got a full house already. Glad I went ahead and put up the live stream tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put up the invite. And there's the let's see, we got to pin it. And there it is. Well, we got James there traveling home. I guess maybe they've stopped already for the night. And David, Bob's in there. I see there he is. Bob's down there. And Shane, Russell, Michael. And we got Jack there. And who else we got in here? We got Keith coming in. Let's see. There we go. And there's Hope and Three Oaks Farm, Tracy. So, and there's Todd. Took a break from cooking tonight, I guess, a little bit, maybe. And there's Brian from Colorado. So, well, it's been here in Maryland, it's been a little bit cold. It's been around 40 to 45. Hey, Tom. 40 to 45 degrees or 4 Celsius. Here for the last several days, the bees haven't been flying any. Now, tomorrow, I think it's supposed to get up to around 50. Yes, around 52 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday, it's supposed to rain, like it's almost 58 on Sunday. Then back down in the 40s next week. And so that the bees will be flying. And hey, hallelujah, bee farm. And Tytrone. Anyway, I've been putting some pollen powder out. And the bees have been taking that quite well. And there we go. Trying to adjust my screens here. Hey, DC, Randy, and hey, Tom.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, everybody.
Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with all this time zone change. Yay, getting closer to home. I guess he's closer to Central Time or something for James. James, if everybody knows, made a big purchase. He got himself a 60 frame Cowan extraction line. Glad to hear that. Now he can retire his 12 frame extractor and all. He's in Denver. Okay. So, so what's up, Tom? What's anything every year? What's the weather like at you're in what, Michigan or no, Columbus or Cincinnati?
It was 55 and sunny today.
Really?
And tomorrow's supposed to be 57 and then 62 on Saturday, but big cold fronts coming through.
Well, we had I'll say a little bit of snow here this morning, enough to put some white rooftops and on top of the cars, but nothing really on the ground or on the roadway. It was, I would say, 40 degrees, come, let's say 8 o'clock this morning. By lunchtime, everything was totally gone. The sun came out a little bit this afternoon, kind of brightened the day up a little bit. And the day before that, I don't know, I'll say it snowed, but it was more or less like, a flake here and a flake there coming out of the sky. And that was the end of that. Today, actually, it took and laid on, like you say, it covered up the rooftops, and that was about it. Russell says
Yesterday we were about 36, 37 degrees, and it was a light rain to moderate rain with sleet or ice or hail mixed in.
right. We didn't have any ice or nothing like that. A friend of mine, she went out to West Virginia for a funeral. I guess it was today. And she went out yesterday, and once she got to West Virginia, it was about an inch of snow on the ground out that way. Well, that's what she texted me a picture of, and all that. So the bees haven't been flying. They've been taking pollen when they have been flying. Let's say around 50 to 60 degrees. If I get it's Sunday, they say close to 60, but it's supposed to be 80% rain. So I don't see anybody flying that day. Saturday afternoon.
Mine are flying today big time.
Really?
Yeah.
So
that was 55 and sunny. So I still got external 2 to 1, and they were hitting it big time today.
Bob's going to live in James' big barn, beet barn. Yeah, he's having issues. So family, situation there.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it's been, sort of a roller coaster. And
yeah, I think Saturday was supposed to hit 62, Sunday supposed to be 39.
yeah, I think it said here it was going to hit, like you say, 52 Saturday and like 58, 59 Sunday, but it's supposed to rain.
Yeah, you're just a day behind me, after me.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been working on my horizontal hives. I'm almost finished with both of them.
Are you building them, or are you?
I'm redoing the guts of them. So the one of them's going to be just 2 or 3 32 frame hives where I have 16 on top of 16. So they're double stacked. And then the other one's going to be 12 8 frame mating nukes that are going to be 4 on 4 on top of each other. And I've just been doing all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I guess my biggest news of this week is that I broke and sold 1,000 pounds of honey as of this week, since the first of the year. And I'm guessing or estimating, I would say, that by the end of the year, somewhere is around 1,100 pounds. If my average continues on at 20 pounds per high or per week, I should have about 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Yeah, somewhere's around 1,080 pounds. I don't think I'll do exactly 1,100, but that was not a goal set by me or anything. It just happened.
Right.
Over the period of time, I average usually around 600 to 800 pounds a year. And then there was a guy right up the road here. He actually quit beekeeping, and I actually sold him nukes and stuff over the years. And he's been directing his customers to me, which is,
Wow.
a influx of new customers, and
Right.
which is nice. And but now, right now, I'm running the hives behind me, or I'm running 12 honey hives. I put two new ones in, or I went from 10 to 12 last year, and I am definitely have made plans. I'm going to go from 12 to 14 honey hives and drop my nuke yard from 20 boxes down to 16. And because I usually have four nukes on a rack, I'll put two 10 frame production hives on the rack and to replace
Okay.
the four nukes. But
Right.
I still have enough nukes at 16. I should be, if everything goes well, I'll have um, 10 hives to 10 nukes to sell in the springtime. And I'll have about six nukes for me. I like to keep so many of them in medium frames because I'm running all mediums. And that's my insurance hives, as I call them. And
Resource hives.
resource hives, exactly. And
Right.
I've needed them last year. I needed about three or four of them because of some queen issues. And so that's kind of I'll say a milestone, I guess, for me.
Right.
And so, I figure I want to try to produce at least 12 to 1400 pounds of honey. I always like to have a couple 100 pounds or at least 100 pounds to overlap the next season into the next
Right.
season.
Right.
And I've been sitting here doing calculations that uh, I took the amount I took from January 1 and I counted the amount of weeks to Thanksgiving, and I took the amount of honey at that time that I had sold, and it was just a smidgen over 20 pounds per week. And so I calculated from Thanksgiving all the way to the end of June, 20 pounds per week. So I think I have enough honey to get through. I did go out last weekend. A friend of mine, he's has locust honey like mine. It's really nice and light and kind of a light yellow look to it, and it's good taste and stuff. I went and bought 108 pounds, two buckets. It turned out to be 108 pounds. And
Okay.
just in case I need that little bit of a margin there that, as far as getting
Right.
from one harvest to the next harvest. So that's my plans for my apiary this year. And then, as you can see behind me there, I have, well, it's been a couple weeks ago now. I put my carpet uh, wraps around my individual honey production hives. Now, that's because they're out past the barn that's usually behind me. And that carpet is more of a windbreak than anything else. It goes from the ground up. So the wind, I do know, blows from the back of the hive towards the front, and it keeps the wind off my hives. And I was in there a week or so ago. Um, that's not a recent picture of my apiary, but I'm going to say the one hive that's got like a purple top to it. I've had problems with that one hive over this past summer where of queen issues. So anyway, I put a nuke in there with a queen right nuke. And then before winter really hit, I dropped it into 10 frame from 5 frame, 5/5. So went in there and I did not see any eggs or larvae. And I'm like, okay, do we have a queen? Yes, I found a queen. So I said, good. And it was one of them warm days. Everybody was a flying. So I took my hive tool and I had my pollen bucket out there and I took a big scoop of pollen powder out of that with my hive tool and carried it over there and sprinkled it up on top of the frames. where the wax, some of the bird comb was, sprinkled it all down in there, and it was two medium boxes. So I put the next medium, the top one back on, sprinkled some more pollen powder. Figured I'd give them some pollen. I'm sure they'll be able to eat it and help them maybe do some production of maybe some eggs. But yeah, it's getting cold. It is almost, it's getting, here we are at the beginning of December and into January. So,
right. Couple more weeks, that'll be it.
yeah, what is it? Is it the shortest day is what, December 21st?
Yeah, about there.
Okay. So then after that, it starts getting lighter. So you figure by, I don't know, middle of January, second week of January, the queen's going to go the opposite direction and start laying up a little bit at a time.
Right.
And I figured, well, I'll take advantage of all these 50-degree plus days and put some pollen powder out there for them. I don't normally do that. I've found in the past, I did it early in the spring and they got to be pollen bound. And then you had all these frames in there that were just loaded with pollen. And they really don't, after a while, that pollen, the food value degrades and the bees will not fool with it, touch it. That means you got to strip the frame down, and I guess I'll have to get back to maybe stripping it down and then power washing the frames and then the foundation, and then maybe re-wax. And I do have wax, so I can re-wax. And I did watch Cayman's one of his videos where when I first started out, I would wax it and it would fill up the little indents, and he said, no, you don't want to do that. You just want to kind of brush a coating on the ribs of the indentations. So I said, well, I'll try that again, maybe, and all that. So James, are you able to come on tonight, or are you driving at this point in time? McNally. So, hey, Sean, and you're going, Tom, you're going, obviously going to be going down to Nobby, right?
I'll be there about Thursday, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. I'll get there.
What day? Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be in your area on a Tuesday, and then I'll travel on down Wednesday, I would say around noontime, spend with a friend of mine's son.
Alan's driving, he's saying.
Yeah, Alan's getting annoyed.
Yeah, I plan on leaving around 11:30. It's about an hour and a half drive on Thursday.
I think from Dayton, where we're going to be at, it's about 2.5 hours.
It all depends on traffic, but at 11:30 it should be wide open.
Well, I do know on Wednesday when we go down, I think we can't get into the room until after 3 or from 3 on. So. Right. And then I know Lee is staying in the same hotel that I am. And Ricky Rourke said that they're all going to get together to go out to dinner. Hopefully we'll all get to go and have,
glad to be there.
But
I got a meeting Thursday morning that I got to go to. That's why I can't get down there till Thursday afternoon.
Well, isn't the show starts at 1 o'clock or something like that on Thursday?
Is that when it starts?
I believe it is. It isn't the evening thing. It's an afternoon thing on Thursday.
Right. I'll be there right when it starts. About.
Yeah, I'll have to check on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I should be done by 11 o'clock, so I'll be already pre-packed I'll just have to hop in the truck and go.
Right.
So
Um,
this way I'll let the line get in. I'll just come in after the line.
right. Yeah, I was trying to look it up here for everybody. Honeybee Expo.
Yeah, while you're doing that,
Mm.
my honey that I pulled this year is all locust honey too, mostly
Oh yeah.
wildflower and locust predominant. And I'm planning on 24 production hives, but I need 9 of them don't have any bees in them right now. So I need to do some splits and turn them into production hives
Mm-hmm.
sometime in April.
All right. Honey said, let's see, January the 4th, 1 to 5 p.m. and Friday. This is the honey show details, but
Yeah. I think Thursday's mostly just this, see all the vendors and do that kind of stuff still.
yeah, it is. But
There's a lot of them.
there's a there's 141 vendors,
Right.
and the vendors are totally sold out. One of the things that I don't know if anybody has seen it on Facebook, but I just ordered a 60 pack of Apravar from Foxhound Bee Company, and it's $125. Normally about $180, 179, and that's right on the price because I actually paid that 100 and a quarter for that this year with a 30% discount from my bee club that we offer a lot of times. And hey, James, you there?
Evening, Charlie. How are we doing?
Good.
James,
So
We're on the road.
where are you at now?
Oh, I don't know. Where are we? We are.
What's
In the
what
left lane.
state? What state are you in?
So we are 2 hours and 36 minutes from Denver, Colorado.
All right,
We
so
should
you're
be
in
pulling out.
Colorado. Okay.
Yeah, we should be. We should be pulled. Well, I don't think we're in Colorado quite yet, but we will be shortly.
Okay. And then are you guys gonna stop for the night sometime and then go on home tomorrow?
Well, we won't get all the way home. We're still probably 2 days from home.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll get. I think it was 12 or 14 hours from Denver to the border crossing there. So I think that'll take pretty much most of tomorrow, and then we should get home the following day.
I'm missing most of it.
Yeah. So you must be on I-70.
We are on I-70. You got her. Yep.
All right, so you're gonna take 70. I'm looking at the map right now. And then let's see how we're gonna do this.
So if you go from Denver and then type in, we'll probably cross the border at the Coots crossing in between Montana and Alberta.
Yes. Yeah, I see it. You're taking 15 up out of Montana. Not quite sure how you're going to get there.
We don't know how we're going to get there either because it's just Alan and I. We've got no.
Well, you know, the thing of it is, I'm looking at the farther north you go, the bigger, the more. I guess you're going to go to Denver and then up 25 to Casper, Wyoming.
Exactly. Yep.
And then 25.
Yep.
Looks like 25 to 90. And then that'll go through the Crow Reservation and across over to, well, I'm not sure just how that's going to go. Yeah, you're going to take 90 over to 15. You're kicking on 15 somehow. And then right straight up to Codis Coutts.
Yeah, Coots. They pronounce it Coots. It's the Coots border crossing.
Coot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I've always find I when you were saying that you were where you were at and which way you were heading, I'm like, he's heading up backwards a different way. And then you remembered that you stated that you had to go across the border in your province, I guess you call it. And I said it had to be that. That's the only one I could see.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, we just crossed into Colorado. We just crossed the border. From the
okay.
state line, I guess.
Yeah, it says Russell Koopman says Casper, Wyoming is some really empty country out through there. Of course,
Well, I don't know.
I've been out there years ago, and it's open range area, that's for sure. I've been to Billings. I remember that.
Well, we were following the GPS, and we were taking the route most traveled today. Let's put it that way. But we took a lot of side highways. We saw a lot of interesting country. So far the trip has been pretty interesting.
Yeah, Billings, Montana. Isn't that where Mount Rushmore is and all that?
That's
Close
a
to
little bit
there.
further. No, that's southeast of there.
That's what I thought. Something like that. I don't know. We were around Yellowstone National Park, and um, it's been years and years ago. We came across the northern pass out of Yellowstone and across the Rocky Mountains, and it took us basically a half a day to get across the Rocky Mountains in a motorhome, and that was in July. And they had snow 2 weeks prior to that. The pass was closed, and the snow was higher than the motorhome up on top of the mountain.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. I'm just reading the comments here. Brian from Flower Street out there. He said the high plains gradually ascend to the front range of the Rockies and stuff, and all that. So I don't know. You'll find your way. So are you?
I've been
So
known
you?
to get lost, but I always seem to be found.
Yeah. Um. So are you happy with your purchase? It looks like obviously you did buy it, but was it
Oh,
nicer than what you thought?
the equipment is in really good shape. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take us too much. I mean, we got a few things we got to do just because what the requirements are by the the Canadian Food Inspection Agency or the CFIA. So I mean, it is all stainless. We're going to have to go through and completely clean it all up, of which I would do anyways, just because it's a food processing equipment.
Right.
But we'll have to go through and test the paint and get all that done, and we're gonna have to clean all the chains. We're gonna have to purge all the bearings and make sure they're all good. So there's a bit of work to do, but no, I think very very happy with the equipment.
Yeah. And it looks like instead of just getting an extraction line, you got, like you say, a wax melter and a wax spinner machine there. So that's even a plus. I don't think that those pieces of equipment are standard on that line, are they?
No, but it is all Cowan equipment. So, and actually, ironically enough, the serial numbers and everything all are very, very close. So they were all the equipment was built pretty much within, I'm going to say a year or two of each other. So
Yeah.
it's all the same vintage. It's all the same equipment, and In all honesty, I don't think it's been used very much, and the equipment came with a pile of spares. So I mean, there's a second Silver Queen uncapper there. There was a bunch of stuff that it didn't show that we have in the truck there as well. So lots
Right.
of spare parts and things like that too.
So now you got 3 Silver Queens.
Well, you know what? I think we'll probably end up using the one that we rebuilt last year. I mean, we know exactly what the shape is now. This, I haven't had a chance to go through these ones yet, but the reason I say we'll probably use the old time one that we rebuilt is because it automatically feeds them in. The Silver Queen, you can't put that many on at a time. And we've got a spare hive lifter and everything here too, which lifts the boxes and everything all right up there. So stay tuned.
All right, James, we will.
This line with our my old line, and we've got some pretty good ideas of how this is going to work out very well for us.
My question is where are you going to put it at? Have you got a building that you can set that thing in?
Well, you know what? You got to have the equipment. Then you got to figure out where you're going to put it.
Well, I did. You broke up on that.
I was going to say we will figure out where to put it for sure. There's no worries
Okay. There. Yeah, that's good.
Really, what he said, now he's got an excuse to build a building.
So my wife's never going to let me go on a road trip again, just for the record.
Yeah, but you got to have, got to have the ground. You know, you live in town. I know you probably have to outsource some other places and stuff. So, well, that's good, James. I'm glad that you finally got something that, I know you've been scaling up really super fast in your bee endeavors and everything. And I'm glad that you finally, you got something there that you definitely needed and all.
Well, and ironically enough, so Alan and I were driving. Where the heck was that town we were driving through? I can't remember. We're driving somewhere across Oklahoma, and this car pulls up beside us, and he's frantically waving us down. And I thought, great, you know what? We got, a flat tire or something on the trailer. I roll the window down, and he's like, "Is that extracting equipment?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." "Are you selling it?" "Not a hope in hell," I said. So we could have sold the equipment already quite easily. So yeah, it's if you go back to what Ian had some advice he had given maybe a year ago, he's like, buy the equipment. You'll never lose money on it. Obviously it was for the right price. I mean, for the trip and stuff that we made.
Right.
And, yeah, I can honestly say, even with the hotels, the fuel, the food, stuff like that, yeah, we will still easily make money on this unit.
Well, the biggest thing is, people will say, well, I wouldn't travel that far or whatever, and my answer to that is that a new unit like that is well over $100,000 from what I understand. I think you stated that 125 or more. And, if you can drive for a few days, take a week, let's say round trip to go get a piece of equipment that you can buy for either half price or less than half price, and it's in quality shape, you're definitely money ahead. Whether you include the motel rooms into it or anything else in the fuel cost. So,
well, they quoted me anywhere between $8,000 US and $12,000 US to ship it up to me, and that didn't include freighting it up.
mm-hmm.
So just the freight alone, we're going to be, I'm going to say, well under half of even the lower end of that freight to get this home. So, it just doesn't make sense to not drive down and get it. So I mean, all those people that said, "Well, I'd never drive that far." all I can really say is thank you.
Yeah. James or Brian from Flower Street wanted to know the estimated cost of your trip expenses. What, several $1,000s
Oh,
maybe?
oh no, we're probably going to be we'll be close to the $2,000 mark.
Just for the how much? How much was it?
Just for we're probably looking at about $2,000 in fuel plus our
Two,
hotel rooms.
yeah, about 2,000 for everything in your trip.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So,
Fuel, motel rooms, everything. Yeah, when it comes to shipping, it's astronomical.
well, I couldn't believe it when they quoted me between 8 and 12,000. I just about fell off my chair.
No, forget that.
And they stated it would have to be crated up. So I mean, it would have been let's say even take it on the low end, it would have been $8,000 shipping, and somebody would have had to go and crate all this up. So then then that's probably going to be, I don't know, that probably would have been $1,000.
Yeah,
And
at least.
of course, we're worrying about Livingston and the duties and the customs, and yeah, it just made more sense to go for a drive.
Yeah. Bob Walker, he wants to know: did you go to Bucky's? Did you find one of them?
We haven't. You know what? We were in and out of Texas so quick. We kind of went in there, and the next thing you know, we were in Wyoming, so we did not find the Bucky's.
Yeah.
Skip Dallas. And we kind of went up through I think it was Texarkana, so we skipped all of the Dallas traffic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that sounds really good. I've seen that. I guess it's a wax spinner. It looked like to me it had like looked like to me kind of like a cement mixer that had a little spout sticking out. It's sort of horizontal. Is that how that thing works? It spins it honey out of it, and then it spins the wax out on the end of that thing or something. Do you know?
So it is a horizontal wax spinner. The honey goes in down on the bottom, and it spins it horizontally. So you are correct with that. And it is a Cowan spinner. So one of the things that's good with this spinner too is talking with Ian. I haven't used one, but he had mentioned this type of spinner does not need a heater. So it can basically come out of the extractor and out of the uncapper straight into this spinner, and I don't need a honey heater.
Okay. Yeah, there's a guy, he was on YouTube, and I think his unit is just like yours, only it's a 40 frame unit. And it's got that same sort of style spinner on the side of it there, wax spinner and everything. And he was stating two people could run it, and they could do like 200 supers a day going through it, around 180 to 200 supers a day.
Well, that would be wonderful if we can, if we could do that. So, all I know is it's going to be a whole lot faster than 12 frames at a time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you've got 60 frames at a time, so you'll probably be even better at that, And once and then like you say, get the bugs worked out of it, and learning the machine and all its little idiosyncrasies about it and stuff like that. And
we're gonna engineer any of the idiosyncrasies right out of it. So this thing is going to. We got a couple ideas, a few things that we've got to do to it here. So
yeah,
I think.
Well, that was like that. Like you rebuilt that Queen uncapper, where you got it to. I forget what it was. It was something about the frame was dropped down on the table, and you got it so it would push it, and it wasn't hanging up or something like that. I forget how that was.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, like I said, we'll get her figured out.
And shoot, um, Doug here is on the chat from Longman Apiary. He's up there near you. He does 60 frames every 10 to 15 minutes on their 60 frame cowing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So this one here's got a right now it's got just an on-off switch for the spinner, for the extractor. So one of the things that we will look at putting on there will be a timer, so that we can set it all up so it'll go for the exact time, and then shut down and go from there. So there's just a few things like that, just from the vintage that it is, that will improve it drastically.
Yeah. That's so in 15 minutes, does it spin fast enough to where it pretty much you got 99% of all the honey out of those frames and stuff?
That's what I understand. Yeah, 12 to 15 minutes, depending on your honey, the thickness, and the temperature, and there's a bunch of variables like that. But if you stop and think, for us this past year, boy, this highway, but last year about every super, so every 10 frames, we were getting, well, I guess it was pretty darn close to 5 gallons of honey. So when you stop and think about that, every 15 minutes, we're going to be spinning 30 gallons of honey.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I sit here and I spin mine 18 frames, and of course, I got to watch. Mine's not anchored to the floor, and it's got a pallet, and it'll get out of round on me and out of balance, and it takes me a lot longer than most people. But I'm not in a big hurry either, so it works out fine.
Yeah, ours
okay, that yeah.
Now this past year, when we anchored that 12 frame one to the floor, it sure sped things up drastically.
Yeah, that's another thing that Doug just mentioned here on the chat, that he has a hot room, so that I'm sure that really makes a big difference when it comes to spinning honey out of the frames. And all that's why you can get it out fast, because it's liquefied really good. Yeah.
Get the honey flowing.
Still with us, James?
I'm still here, you betcha.
Okay. But yeah, that having a hot room, I never really gave. I understood what the hot room was for, but I never gave I guess it's the logistics of it, why it's sort of a necessary thing when it comes to commercial extractors and stuff. It makes everything more efficient.
Time is money.
Well, I mean, if you can get liquid, the honey is more, the viscosity is thinner. It'll spin out of that frame a whole lot easier. You don't have to, and you don't have to take so long. Like you say, 15 minutes, you're done and all that. So, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So, yeah, I guess you got all your honey sold too, didn't you? Didn't you say you pretty much got all that done?
Pretty much, yeah. The meadery has spoken for pretty much what's left. So she took a large order here just before we had it down, and she's going to be back to kind of pick up what we've got left there right after Christmas. So
that was that. Yeah, that was what, the brewery.
That was the meadery, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, the meadery or whatever. Yeah, because she was buying it by the barrels and buckets and everything else that you had.
Absolutely, yeah. She's actually really impressed, because most of her meadery, or most of her meat has won awards. So if you were to look up Stolen Harvest meadery, you'll see her award-winning meats that she makes there, and yeah, she uses an awful lot of my honey.
That's good.
Yes.
Real good.
Hey, hey guys, I need to get off because I got to bottle some honey I forgot for my wife.
You just
So,
need to teach your wife how to bottle honey, Tom.
what's that?
He said,
You need to show her how to bottle it.
I know she's busy. She's a teacher, so she's doing schoolwork right now. I get to hang out with you guys, and she gets to hang out with school papers.
Oh well, I think I'm not sure who won that one.
So I'll catch back. I'll get back on when I get done.
all right, we're going to go to about maybe 10 tonight, and that'll be it. So 10 Eastern Standard. So it's just me and you, James. So,
There we go. Well, this has been a really interesting trip so far. I mean, we've learned quite a bit about some of the banks in the southern U.S.
yeah, I was quite interested. That was interesting that I never gave it a thought. I thought all banks were, I'll say, interconnected with each other somehow, some way. But
Well, the interesting part is what we found is, at least in Mississippi, the banks down there are privately owned. And because they're privately owned, they don't deal with any of the chartered banks or any of the larger banks. So,
yeah,
you know, a cashier's check or a bank draft is exactly that. It is as good as cash pretty much anywhere in the world, except Mississippi. So, yeah, the bank would have still would have accepted it, but of course
yeah.
they wanted to put like 28-day holds on it, and then there was fees, and it's just crazy. So, yeah.
So did the money stuff finally go through?
Nope, we're still working that one. So what we ended up doing is we got the paperwork from the bank in Mississippi to do a wire transfer, and that bank buggered up the paperwork. They put the wrong account numbers on it, if you can believe that. So of course the wire transfer wouldn't go through. So it went from our bank to, I think it was a bank in New York. And then that bank in New York couldn't send it to the people we bought the equipment off of because the account numbers and they call them SWIFT numbers and a few other things like this were all incorrect. So it turned around and of course it got canceled. It's got to be sent back. So that could take a couple of days. So, I mean, the people down in Mississippi were really good. They saw that, we had tried multiple different ways to get money to their bank, and they realized it was the bank's issue. So they were really good. They said, you know what? Yeah, they looked at us and they saw what we were trying to do, and they said, we absolutely are going to trust you. They said so. They allowed us to load the equipment up and head home, and we are going to continue to work to get the money down to them as soon as we can. So we were hoping the money was going to be transferred back to us today so that we could try this all over again with the proper account numbers. And of course, once we get the proper account numbers, it should go through within one business day. But it was just funny that the banks down there didn't even know what their own account numbers and stuff were. It's just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-boggling.
So that's the account number of the bank itself, I guess.
Well, yeah, so there's certain branch numbers and security numbers, and they call them a SWIFT code. Yeah, so anyways, they ended up, well, it was funny because the bank down there actually printed off all of the paperwork for us, of which, we took pictures of it and we sent it to our bank up in Alberta. And they turned around and they rewired it all back, so I mean, our bank, the Alberta Treasury branch, has been absolutely incredible to deal with. No questions asked whatsoever. I mean, we weren't up there to to do a bunch of signing of paperwork. So they found ways that we could digitally sign it and stuff like this in order to get, money back in and redone and resent and switched around and just everything we kind of try until you get to Mississippi and then just nothing would go right down there. So, I mean, kudos to the individuals we bought this off of. I mean, they really didn't have to work with us, but I am super happy that they did. And like I said, we will continue this saga until we get them paid, and hopefully that is going to be. Well, I was hoping today, but now it looks like it might not be until tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that'll get all straightened out and everybody will be happy. How you doing, Doug?
Oh, yes.
Doug's on the chat now. Of course, I think you probably can see Doug. But how's everything
yes.
up
How
there?
you doing, Doug?
Doing good here. I just
So
come
was-
on to help babysit Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So I was going to say, so our trip and the roads so far have been great. I don't want to curse us, but the roads have been good. We ran into a bit of ice fog coming down the first 2 nights, down through, Saskatchewan and across the border there on to, basically to Sioux City. We had ice fog the whole way, but after that, it hasn't been too bad at all. So
We had +9 yesterday. We got rain here right now, but it'll probably be snow by morning.
oh well, maybe it's a good thing we're going back up through Coots.
Yeah,
Well, so you at 40, you're talking about 9 degrees C, right,
yeah.
Doug? All right, that's 48 degrees Fahrenheit. And now you're going to get snow?
We got rain right now, but it'll probably be snow by morning.
And
Yeah,
then
that
would it be down
that
around
rate,
0?
We're about +2, +3 here right now.
Okay.
yeah, when that rain turns to snow or freezing rain, things get slick very, very fast.
Yeah, we have enough frost in the ground. The rain will probably make ice.
Not, that's just, that's what we didn't want to run into. So that's the other reason we're so happy they allowed us to load this stuff up because, Alan and I both have to be back to work for Tuesday. So, we would have still been waiting down there. So allowing us to load it back up, I mean, we've got a day or so grace if the weather hits us. We can, we still got a little bit of time where we can make some of that up and still get back to work on time.
Yeah. Hopefully everything will keep on going well and, you don't hit any snow in our area out that way.
Well, the further north we go, the more we should expect it. It is absolutely, after all, we're approaching the middle of December.
True.
Yeah, getting near Denver, you might get some weather too. You're getting up pretty high there.
Yeah. Well, what are we? We're 2 hours outside of Denver now, so it's still +8 degrees here. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Let's see. You're getting close to, I think where Brian is. He's in.
We are about to go through Bona. Bona.
He's in Denver. But Flower Street lives in Denver, on the outskirts of Denver.
Got her.
Yeah, our bees were flying yesterday, Charlie.
Oh, really?
If you're in the bee yard, you'd have got measles.
Really? Well, I did watch your video, Doug, where they were flying, and I seen the 2 little square woods, that upper entrances for your hives.
Yeah,
So that because of the snow, that's definitely a necessity, I guess.
Yeah, when you're wintering outside, you'll get a lot of dead bees going down and clogging the bottom entrance by spring.
Mm-hmm.
So they make use of the top entrance.
I think, Doug, your top entrance gives you a little bit of airflow and help with moisture too, does it not?
Yeah, yeah, you get quite a bit of moisture coming out of it.
Yeah. James Brian from Flower Street says he lives 10 minutes west of Denver, and he says, don't eat the brownies in Denver. LOL.
Noted.
I'm not sure just what he's talking about there, but and all that.
Well,
But
it is a mile high city.
oh,
The mile, quote unquote, high city.
yeah, that's what I understand out there. Date says that the weather is good in Wyoming for now.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear.
Man, let's see what else.
Is Bob having troubles these days, Charlie?
His mom's and getting ready to
Yeah, I was
away from
wondering.
here, and then James Bruce Brown says that I-90 and I-15 in Montana can be bad if there is snow or ice. I'm sure anything like that, anytime you have that's going to be bad. Of course, that's probably up in the mountain areas. So,
Yeah, we've got a little bit of the mountains that we kind of got to go through, but the route we've picked is we're trying to keep that as little as possible. So,
all right,
we're pulling. I'm not going to say a heavy load. In fact, this for the most part you can barely tell it's behind there with the truck, but we do have some weight on there.
yeah. Yeah, Bob's, his mom's getting ready to pass, and he's got his sisters there, and it's how it is.
Yeah, not nice.
Family gets together like that, and a lot of issues. I'm going to say that's the best I can say about it. That's about all I know about it, and he's got a lot of stuff on his mind on how to, what's going to happen and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, it'll be tough times.
yeah, try to, when she passes, then sorting out all the affairs is a hard issue at that time. So, but no, I seen that, where they're, so you do have a bottom entrance in your hive and then the two upper entrances too, also?
Yeah, there's 4 hives there, 2 on each side of the pallet.
Okay.
The bottom entrance is reduced. They can actually get out underneath that insulated tarp at the bottom.
Right. And then you got I guess you got the tarp and then you put that square on there and you kind of bolt it to the frame or the box to make sure there is an entrance there.
Yeah, it lines up with the top entrance.
Lines up and all that.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking about like letting the humidity out and and also the heat, I guess, between having the insulation around it. It helps that out quite a bit, I guess, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Those top entrances, when it gets cold, you'll see quite a ring of frost around them from the moisture coming out.
Right. Yeah. And then I was just, Darren just popped in and didn't expect me to be on tonight. I want to also make an announcement. I did put a post up that I will not be on tomorrow night. I'm going to go out to a music show. Friends of mine are playing. A couple band friends are playing about up in the next state north of me, about an hour away. So I'm going to go and see them guys. And so that's why I'm on here. I figured, well, I'd do something tonight. And it's been, Bob hasn't been able to get on, or Lee Tuesday. And then Wednesday you had the stream team. And I won't be there tomorrow night. So I figured, well, try to do it tonight. And so that's why I kind of went ahead, and between that and Bob not being around, not being able to do things. So am I going to go dancing? Yeah, well, maybe if there's a dance floor up there. I'm not sure.
Oh, Charlie, I've seen you. You don't need a dance floor. You just need a spot beside the table.
Yeah, that's all I really need is a little spot, you know. So I don't know. It's called the Guitar Shop. So it's supposed to have a hall down in the bottom of the place there. So where the stage is, I guess. I'm not sure. And so anyway, we're gonna see those two bands, and then there's another. I think it's a coffee place that one of my lumber customers' sons owns. So he did a lot of woodwork using my lumber. So he was here this week, and he was texting his son. I said, tell him I'm going to get up there and inspect his job, see what it looks like and everything. Hey, Joseph. Yeah, we definitely have to take a break from the bee stuff here. And it was two bands. One of them's the main band leader is Danny Paisley and the Southern Grass. He's a guy that I've known for, I don't know, 30 years or more, and he plays music for a living. And he's he's like 3-time male vocalist of the year in the International Bluegrass Music Association out of Kentucky. And the other fella, band leader, is Troy Engel. He's one of them guys who can play pretty much anything, and except for maybe drums. And I knew him when he first got out of high school, and he was in a band that I was an agent for, booking agent. And he went to Nashville and became a studio musician, and then he also played for Patty Loveless for quite a few years. And then she quit the scene, and for the most part, traveling wise. So he came back home here around the Pennsylvania area the last, I guess, 5 years now. So I asked him, I says, Troy, what are you doing here? You should be in Nashville, you know. And he told me, caught me up on the status of Nashville, where because of the internet and because, most people today can buy equipment as good as the old studios were, or even better. So he has his own studio, and then he records different parts of a song on different instruments, and then ships it to the place that makes the records, and they put it all together and mix it, and that's how he makes a living. And then they send him a check for playing on the record type of thing. So and he's got his own band now too. What's that?
Oh, we just there was a Walmart truck that we were following for the longest time. We stopped and got fuel, and now he's broke down on the side of the road. So hope nobody's needing anything from Walmart in Denver.
Yeah, Flower Street wants to know if I was a booking agent. Yeah, I was a booking agent for maybe 4 or 5 years with a local band. It was a gospel band, actually, and we were hobnobbing with Ricky Skaggs and the banjo player for Alison Krauss. Actually, they were called the Forbes family, and they sang some backup music on one of Ricky's albums. And see, what else did they do? They I guess that was about it. They did that, and they were on the if you ever listen to, I guess it was a radio show called the Prairie Home Companion. they were on that show and all that. So, but the nothing really materialized out of that too much, and that was the end of that little experience for me. Flowersy, didn't you play drums for Kiss in the 70s too? No, I didn't do that. No, no, never played any music for any known band. I'll put it to you that way. So, but now I've tried a little bit of everything. Did some computer building computers there for a while. Made my own computers and stuff like that when it was cheaper. Anymore, it's just cheaper to buy new ones. So, thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. And Joey, let's see. Joey Rawls is going to be on Ricky Rourke's live chat, I believe it is. And I believe that's going to be next Thursday on the 14th, if not mistaken. Is that right, Joey? He's going to do a live chat, I guess, about his long hive. And all. So I guess, Doug, there's nothing really much going on up where you're at except for snow and ice and all that good stuff.
Oh, did another barrel of honey the other day, and
Oh, did you for creaming?
yeah,
Yeah,
another 600 pounds out. So
that's good.
hope it'll get me through the winter.
Yeah, just everybody. Yeah, Joey says on the 17th. That'll be next Thursday. I believe it's 8 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time. That he'll be live on Ricky Rourke. So all you got to do is find his channel and subscribe, and you'll be able to check out his live chats. So we did another.
I was going to say, Charlie, are you shooting for a New Year's Eve marathon again?
What's that? I can't understand you.
Oh, I was going to say, are you going to do a New Year's Eve marathon chat again?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I might do New Year's Eve or something. I'm not sure. When is New Year's Eve? Friday, Saturday. I guess it's a Saturday night now, and the Sunday. I got a phone call here. Hold on, guys.
I'll bet that's for you, Charlie. Right now, his wife's telling him we need a loaf of bread, a quart of milk, and a pound of butter. How much honey do you keep back for the year, like for your own markets?
Oh, that's a tough one. We did a lot of liquid early in the fall, and I've done 8 barrels of cream since fall.
Oh, nice. Do you sell to the co-op as well, or just keep it for your own sales?
No, the bulk of it goes into Winnipeg to the honey co-op.
Got her. Yep. That's what we're looking at doing next year as well. So, I mean, the bulk of it will be gone, and we'll just keep what we need for our own little market.
Yeah, judging how much to keep, that's the hard part.
And you're running what, 300 hives? I think you said.
In between 300 and 400.
Got her. So we won't quite be there this year, but we should be there next year.
Yeah, well, it increases pretty quick when you get started at it.
Oh, yes.
The hard part is not getting too many.
Well, that's part and parcel of it too, right? So, we won't worry about that. We've got to, well, right now that we've got the equipment, the next step for us is going to be making sure we've got the woodware all ready to go. And of course, it's going to be a little bit slow again this year because we're still trying to convince the girls to draw a bunch of frames.
Yeah, yeah, that takes a lot of honey to get the wax built up.
So, and then, and of course, every year when you increase, you use all of that. That ends up going down in the brood chambers, and then of course you start all over the following year. So we probably still got 1 to 2 years of trying to get some comb drawn out.
Yeah, drawing frames will probably be the slow part on your operation right now, all right?
It absolutely was. That was kind of a bit of the hold up there last year too.
Yeah.
And like you said, it takes a toll on the honey production for sure.
Yeah, they draw real good, real first thing in the spring when things start to move. But as the honey flow starts, then that slows down.
Yeah, we had really good luck getting them to draw it with on sugar water last year. So, right as it started in the spring, they were doing a lot of drawing at home based off the sugar water, which really helped us out.
I find when the dandelions are flowering, that's when they really build out.
Yeah, they definitely pick up a gear there, that's for sure.
I'm back. So
loaf of bread, quart of milk, and pound of butter, Charlie, right?
now it was my sister. I bought some lumber and it's coming in tomorrow, and she seen the email. I forgot about it, checking the email. So she sent me what I'm supposed to write the check out for. So it'll be coming in tomorrow. So come in, take it off the truck, and then call the other guy up and put it back on his truck and out the door again. That's the way to go. So anyway, yep, there we go. What do we got here? Shorts. What's all that about? I don't know what that one. Lee posted a short in the thing here. It must be me. Yeah, it's me. Oh my. So let me see if I get this straightened out. Come on.
Russell was asking if we have a pump that'll pump the creamed honey. My answer is yes. Don't ask me to say the brand name of it. You can look at, I've got a video with it on. You can check my video and see what it is. What's that?
Might be is it one of the Continental pumps? Those things pretty much pump everything and anything.
Well, we use one of them from our sump, but when we're pumping creamed honey, it's a little machine that it pumps. You can set it to pump the proper quantity. It's I don't know, it's a German Niederhofen, something like that.
Is it it's an actual pump and not a piston?
No, it's a little tiny pump, and it's legal for commercial trade. Eh?
Perfect.
Oh, that's the one that pumps out into your buckets, you mean, Doug?
Yeah.
Meters out everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last load I did here the other day, I gave it a real workout. That was getting pretty thick, the creamed honey. It's amazing what it'll pull out, that little thing.
Yeah.
What do you keep your cream temperature at, Doug, when you're working your cream honey? About 22, 23?
Just room temperature in our honey house when we're making it. But as soon as I it starts to cream, we pump it and then put it in I've got a big deep freeze with a thermostat on it. We put it in there at 56 degrees to let it set properly.
And
Excellent.
look. So,
Boy, you guys have a pile of wind turbines in this country. Let me tell you.
got what, James? What is it?
A whole pile of wind turbines, so power generation,
Yeah.
all through Colorado, and now we're coming up to. We must have passed. I bet you it's got to be what, Alan, 2,000-3,000, if not more, windmills. But
Yeah.
we were driving for 90. It was over 93 miles. We were driving in windmills there today.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, James. It's because it blows. Well, I think it's like 25 miles an hour wind blows all the time out there. It seems like.
Oh,
And,
we believe that. We were bucking that just about all day.
Yeah, I remember when we would travel out there when I wasn't even able to drive, and we stopped at a gas station. It was blowing dust up in your eyes, and I said, "Does it blow like this all the time?" And obviously it must had. So they're using windmills back in the the 1800s, for water and all that stuff. So, but yeah, they can get a lot of use out of the windmills out that way. And all. So, I was just reading some of the comments here. There's talking about my legs and my feet. We're not going to worry about that.
Well, Alan and I made it into Dodge City today. And then we had to stop there at the service station, and we decided, you know what? We better get the heck out of Dodge. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, Joseph says if you see one of them windmills is shaking, go the other way. It's getting ready to blow up, I guess. And all that. Mm-hmm. And Randy says that they have 3,000 windmills in Northeast Ohio.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, like I say, there was just a pile of them.
Yeah, there's a few out in Western Maryland here on some of the top of the mountains, but other than that, that's about it. And all that kind of thing. But but hopefully here for me, as far as the bees go, I mean, I'll put some pollen out when it's decent flying weather here, and it looks like next week it's going to be in around 4C most of the week. So winter's kind of settling in for me, and I'll probably try to do some oxalic acid vaporizing next week. It's been about 2 weeks since I did my last treatment, which was actually on Thanksgiving Day. So that
you
was.
You won't do that at 4 degrees, will you, Charlie?
I usually like to do it around 45 degrees would be around 7 or 8 C.
They'll still be, I was going to say 4 degrees. They're going to be clustered pretty good at that. Your OA is not going to penetrate the cluster.
Well, if it's around 7 to C, which is 44 7 to 8C, 44 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit, the cluster ought to be pretty loose inside that box. And I find them starting to fly around 48 to 50 for sure. And I, yeah, today's the 7th. So anytime next week I could hit them again. That way it penetrates the cluster. And so far this year, I've watched the drops as far as my chloroplast boards, and I haven't really seen a tremendous amount of drop, which is good. And I've discussed that with one of my guys here in the club, and I think I use that Formic Pro in September when it's relatively cool, 75 degrees, which is, what is that? It's 24C, low humidity, and it's good for this year it was 24C for at least 2 weeks, and it worked out well. I don't have any problems with my bees, and seems to work well.
You put the vapor in the top box or from the bottom, Charlie?
I put it in the bottom. I have a 1/4-inch hole in the back of my bottom board, and I blow it up into the hive.
We do it from the top. We find that the vapor wants to work its way down.
Really?
We figure it does a lot better coming from the top.
I don't know. I always, if you shoot it out there, it always seems to want to go up in the air and everything.
The acid vapor is heavier than air, so
Okay.
you have to force it up. But if you're doing it from the top, coming down, it really works well.
Now, Shane wants to know about the treatments are far apart. Well, I developed a treatment program where for me, honey is over with by the end of June. So about the 3rd or 4th week of July, this year I put Aprovar strips on for 6 weeks. Came back in September. We had a hot week, and then we had 2 weeks of cool weather. I put Formic Pro on for 2 weeks, and then I started feeding till around the 15th of September or October, and took all the feeders off by the end of the month after they sucked it all down, and sugar water. And then, Shane, I found that I used to vaporize once or twice a week for like 6 consecutive weeks until the time changed. And I really didn't have a good result with that. So I listened to the science people, and they say, do your vaporization when your hives are at the most brutalist point. So that was a lot of work doing it that way, and I didn't have any good results. So now I vaporize twice a month throughout the whole winter, as long as the temperature is around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And that seems to be working for me. And I don't have very many lossage as far as dead outs. And it keeps the mite level down low at all times. And of course, now last year I used Apis Biologic for the first time, and they came out in the spring like gangbusters. I've never seen as many bees in my life. And I fed this year with Apis Biologic. All my sugar water had it in there. So I'm predicting that they're going to be like they were last year as far as the amount of bees. And of course, I'll be doing another video on that. I'll adopt a different way of getting my supers and stuff on next spring. They kind of caught me off guard for the amount of bees that I had in that hive in the spring. So I was trying to treat them to where the top boxes would have the bees and the bottom box would have been totally empty. With Apis Biologic, you don't get that. It's totally bees from the bottom board to the top with brood and all 3 boxes for me. So I'm going to revamp on how I'm going to get into them hives, and where I'm going to take the top box off, shake all the bees out of it, put a queen excluder on, put my honey supers on, and put that top box on top and let it repopulate that brood, and watch out for any queen cell manufacturing. And then I will go back in and do a demery, which is where I'll take out the cat brood and put it upstairs. And that will reduce or eliminate the swarming problem. I know that Doug doesn't have that problem, and neither James probably, but your honey flow is different than ours. Ours are right in the middle of swarm season, April, May, and June, and yours is what starts in June and goes
End of June. End of June, July, and maybe August, a bit of August.
So your honey season is June, July, or end of June, you say?
Yeah, end of June.
End of June. It starts the end of June, and then you got July and August.
Well, about the first week of August.
So you only have maybe 6 weeks worth of honey?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's about it.
Is that it? Man, that's like, that's, and the amount of honey that you get is like they say, it's like a freight train coming in. You better be on top of it.
Busy bee.
That's amazing. Ours, starts out in April slow, and then May is the main flow, and then it starts to slow down. Actually, I looked at my buckets that I had, and I had wrote June the 20th when I was processing honey about the middle, a little bit after the middle of June. And it used to be we would go all the way up to the 4th of July, but I think the flow and everything is starting to change on us. Depends on how much weather we have too, whether it rains.
But we get the longer hours.
Yeah. Alan just brought up a good point there, Charlie. So
what's that?
One thing that we've noticed, especially being down south here, is our season might be 6 weeks long, but those consist of 20 to 22 hours of daylight.
Consist of 20 to 25 what?
No, 22. About 20 hours a daylight, 20 to 22 hours.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, you guys, you got that long daylight hours and stuff. Yeah. And hey Todd, welcome aboard.
How you doing, Charlie? Hey Doug. Hey James.
We have about 18 hours of daylight where we are.
Right. And probably here, we probably get 12 to maybe 15 hours of daylight. I don't really know. I guess it's a little longer.
Alan and I have noticed, being as we're down south here now, anything, about between 5:30 and 6:30, it's like everybody shuts the lights off, and it is dark by 6:30.
Yeah. I was just reading Darren's comments, or I'll have to talk to him about what he's talking about there. So, Todd, you got all your supper fixed up for the next day or two?
Yep. Sat down and chowed down, and now I'm all done.
That's good.
But I have to make a couple of deliveries here, so I'll stick on for about a half hour or so, and then I've got to run around.
Yeah, well, I'm going to shut down here at 10 o'clock. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow, too, and all that. And I don't want to be too tired for tomorrow evening. Yeah. So, but
well, Alan and I figured we're just going to sit here and maybe we'll drive. And tomorrow, we're planning on driving. And the day after that, I think we'll drive.
Yeah, boy.
You're gaining on it, James.
Oh, we're chewing on it. You betcha. We're eating this elephant one toenail at a time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be back in a minute.
Only problem is you're probably into a headwind all the way home, are you?
You know, we've been bucking that headwind all day today, and I watched one semi in front of me. I was mentioning to Alan there. I'm pretty sure I saw daylight underneath one of its tires. I thought it was going to blow it over. And yeah, we've been bucking that wind just something fierce all day today.
Yeah, it blows from the north.
Quite windy here today too. The land of high gas prices that you don't want to come over and pay for, James.
No, I wasn't going to go down there. We pay enough up north. We're kind of enjoying this 73 to 75 cents a liter prices down here in the U.S.
Oh man.
We're down to $1.43 a liter now.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to make sure we fill up before we cross the border because,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like you said, when we came down here, we couldn't believe it. I think it's what, 240, oh, 239 to 245 a gallon.
Wow. Been a
But
few
they
years.
they do it down here is to be paid cash or it's the other way. One's a different price over the other.
Oh yeah, there's one price if you pay cash, and there's another price if you use your debit card or credit card.
Yeah, I never could figure that out.
Just goes well. What they're doing is they're putting the fees for the debit card and the credit card right on top of the
Yeah,
price of the fuel. So it just goes to show you that cash is still king.
yeah.
But it
Well,
was what was it? It was 23 degrees Celsius down here today. Like absolutely incredible.
well,
Vincent,
go ahead.
South Ontario. I know it's $1. It's 3.09 here in Maryland.
Well,
Dollar cheaper.
In Bram, was it Byram? It was. Alan's got a picture here. It was $2.59 a gallon, and if you wanted it without ethanol, it was $3.39, and premium was $4.59 a gallon. So, I mean, yeah, cheap down here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing how straight gas now costs more than ethanol, you know?
Well, you know what the funny part is you know, Alberta and probably a little bit there in Saskatchewan too. We're sitting on it. We sit on it there. The refineries and stuff are there, and due to our lovely government taxing the living crap out of it, we pay more than any of the countries we ship it to. Go figure that out.
What you're shipping, what, ethanol?
No,
They ship gas.
gasoline.
Oh, gas. Yes. I don't know. The thing of it is, straight gas will
So
give you
keep-
better fuel mileage than ethanol will. And they say
Yeah.
originally ethanol, oh, we're going to save on gas. No, you're not. You're burning more gas.
Exactly. This little V6 twin turbo sure is performing nice, and you know it's doing really good.
What kind of fuel mileage you getting out of that truck? Well, you know, even with pulling a trailer.
What was it, 15 to 18 miles to the gallon?
Not bad for pulling a trailer.
Nope, not too bad at all. So,
Well, did you get all your honey bottled up, Tom?
I got enough for my wife, and I did a few extras since the honey, I already had it warming up. So I did 38 bottles.
Would you say you bottled 38 bottles?
Yeah. That'll be going in a couple weeks.
hey, guess what? My truck just told me it needs an oil change.
Well, you have a bottling tank, I guess, right, Mac? Right, Tom?
Yeah, one of those 19 gallons heated, jacketed. That's a game changer.
It's was it from Hilco or what? Or license or
Yeah, that was a Hilco from last year. I picked up at the conference. So it works good. I mean, it's a good product.
there's Joey.
Hey,
Hey,
Joey.
Joey.
Hey, Todd and Doug.
Hey,
How
Tom.
y'all doing?
Hey, Mr. Ross.
Doing
How's it
good.
going?
Good.
Charlie, Randy's asking me if we vaporize on the side or the back. We do it through the top entrance. We have top entrances on everything.
Right. Yeah, back to that. What kind of how much dosage you do, Doug? Do you know?
6 grams.
6 grams?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Go big or go home, right?
Well, I base it on the fact that it's a known fact scientifically that it takes 2.25 grams per box to be efficient in a kill. So that's 4.5 grams. So if you just make, might as well make it 3 grams per box and be done with it.
Yeah.
And it works.
I do somewhere between 5 and 5.5.
Well, I don't know how
I
you
don't
measure
really-
5.5 out, but I have
I,
that. Huh?
I just fill up my cap thing and I round it up a little bit,
Mhm.
whatever that is.
Well, I got that ProVap, and it's got that plunger just like the InstaVap's got.
Right.
And what I did is it's got a screw and some springs, and anyway, I backed it off 1/4 of an inch or something like that, and I've got a gram scale, so I dug it in and I hit it on the scale, and it came out to 6 grams exactly. So I know I'm doing pretty good right there. That
Gotcha.
works out fine.
Maybe I'll measure it this year. I got a little scale.
Heck, I think 5-6 grams would do the trick anyway. I don't think you need to be right at exactly 6 or right at 5.5.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, we're the same, Tom. I weighed a cap is 3 grams when it's level. I'll use 2 of them and I make sure they're full.
Right. Well, Joey, what's happening with you? Anything?
Oh, not too much. Been a little cool around here the last couple of days.
What, 50 degrees?
Yeah, I had to put a jacket on.
You were down there in that hot territory.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to tell you, I had a few hives I needed to put the sugar water on a little while back, and the little pump I had the night before, it got down in the 40s, and that sugar water got cold, that 2-to-1, and it cut my time from 30 seconds to a whole minute filling that 1 gallon thing up. It took me twice as long to fill all of them up. I'm going to have to remember to warm it up the night before I go feed.
Yeah.
Stuff got thick when it was cold.
Is that that's a diaphragm pump that you got?
Yeah, that one I used.
I have the same thing, and I mix I call it 2-to-1, but it's a little bit lighter than 2, just slightly light, and because it will not pump real thick syrup. All right, James has dropped out. He's continue listening. All right, James, I'll have a safe trip, or continuation of a safe trip. But so have you done anything with your bees, Todd, or anything lately?
No, just I have a couple triples I still have to break down. I'll do that this weekend. Now I'll monitor which ones I want to keep in doubles and then break down the rest in singles.
And then what 70 degrees out there, I guess, still?
No, yesterday was 76, 78 degrees and breezy, and today is windy and 60. And tomorrow is supposed to be in the 50s. But there isn't a storm coming in. It's just, I don't know, just something. And it's going to be in the, from what I could tell, the rest of the month, it's going to be in the 50s and 60s and lows in the 30s and 40s. So it's almost regular. We'll
I
see.
think we're supposed to be pretty seasonal, which is about 10 degrees lower than that.
I'm just waiting for the rain to come because right now, long range, there isn't anything in December except for a day or two. And I was telling Catherine in the chat, we had 5 1/4 inches in December last year alone, and that's big time for us. And there's January, February, March. It'll rain pretty good, but I'd rather get it right now before the seasons change, because then it won't rain.
Yeah, I think we get about 40 inches of rain a year.
I think we're around 33, I think. 30, somewhere in the low 30s.
Our normal
Yeah.
is 11.5 inches of rain.
Yeah, a lot different. We're supposed to get an inch to Saturday. An inch of rain.
When it rains good here, we get, a good rainstorm will be 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. That's it. But, like I said, last year we got dumped on. It was crazy last year. We had one day where we got 2 inches of rain, and I can't remember that ever happening around here.
That's normal for us.
Yeah, I know. When I lived in Missouri, I saw lots of those days.
Yep. So
But we'll
Yeah.
find out. I don't know. So anyway, I'll keep the ones and doubles that are strong enough for almonds, and then I'll break down the rest into singles and in the spring and get queen cells in them and go from there. I'll expand. I'll double this year. So I'll be up around 150. I have to take advantage. If it's going to rain, I have to take advantage of it, because that'll mean a lot of honey or nectar being produced between April and all the way into August if we get a lot of rain.
Yep.
I couldn't remember what Louisiana's average rain is. It's 57.05 inches a year.
Hey, Todd, I just looked it up. We average 151 rainy days, and we get about 28 inches a year. So 1 out of 3 days it rains. More than that.
I'll tell you what. So before last year, what was it? The 21-22 rainy season, we had 5 inches of rain.
Wow.
From our rain season starts July 1st and goes to June 30th, and we had 5 inches of rain. And before that, we maybe had 6. So I bet prior to last year, I bet 5 years prior to that, we probably didn't even have as much as Joe had in in Louisiana. We had nowhere near 50 inches of rain,
Wow.
probably in the last decade. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I
Well,
think we average, we're somewhere in the 20 inches of snow we get every year.
Wow.
But that's not, lately, it's been like maybe 10 inches of snow a year,
Hmm.
last few years.
Well, we still have snow up in the high country in the Sierras, which it's been a long time since I've seen that, where it's gone year round. The canals, the irrigation canals, just turned off 2 weeks ago, and they almost always turn off. Well, at least in the last 10 years, they've been off by August. So they had a lot of runoff this year, which was good. But
That's good.
unfortunately, we're not capturing a lot of it. It's just going out in the ocean. So that's the way it is.
yeah, you were saying what they were putting it out into the darn. And James says no snow talk until we get home.
I guess no rain either. Nice and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice too. No snow,
Yeah.
no
I was
ice.
going, I was going to tell James about those windmills. If he's never seen a video of it, look a video up when he gets a chance. Those things, they got almost like a continuous brake on them to keep them turning a certain speed. Some of y'all may know more about that than I do, but if the brakes go out on that thing, it just starts spinning out of control. It'll shake itself to pieces.
What's that for? What was it?
That was the windmills.
Oh, the windmill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are
We have quite a few.
waste of money.
We have quite a few
They never
windmills
get the
here. You see them down a
money
lot of the
that it
time. They
takes to
must be
put one
doing.
of those, to build one of those and put one of those up is not made up for the money it puts out. Electricity it puts out in the
Yeah.
throwaway waste.
What'd you say, Doug, about the windmills?
We've got quite a few here, but you see them down quite a bit of the time. They must take a fair bit of maintenance.
Wow.
Yeah. So
They have more maintenance to them, preventive maintenance, than any other generator we have.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Joey, you doing anything with your bees at all? I mean,
No, the last thing I did was feed them bees of sugar water. I do have a video coming out of one that I did a while back in November, combining a couple of hives. But other than that, just putting a little sugar water in. That's about it.
How many hives are you running right now?
I think I got 35-ish, something like that.
All 10 frame? Most of them are.
Yeah, I had 35 of those, and I think I got 3 nukes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I got 36 10 framers, somewhere in that ballpark. I did peek in all of them 2 weeks ago, and they all look good. Sugar bricks look good, not touched too much. So, knock on wood or knock on something.
Yeah, I haven't. I've got those 30 hives out there now where, they're all been fed, and I haven't put any extra feed or anything like that on them. I try not to. I try to get them fed to where they have plenty before the winter hits. I did have that one nuke out there. It's only 5 frames. Usually I like a 5/5. I did put some sugar brick on that just to help it along.
Yeah. I just put it on for insurance. And if they
Well,
don't
for
use
that
it,
one,
I
you
just,
didn't have a box of food on top of it. So I said, okay, I'll put that on there just, for the food that's in the box where they're at and give them something extra
Right.
up on top. And I went ahead and I had a pollen bucket out there at the time. I gave them a scoop of pollen powder off of my hive tool and sprinkled it on the sugar and on top of the frames to give them a little extra any type, if they needed. There was some brood in there that I figured, well, they maybe need to make some more roll jelly, help them out on that, and
yeah.
do that for them.
Most of the time, they hit the sugar in February when they start getting pretty much brewed.
Yeah. I'll watch my nukes more so than my 10 frame. My 10 frames are, have plenty of food on them and everything.
Right.
They'll go into April very easily, plenty of food. And by that time there's nectar and stuff coming in. Especially about mid-March, some of the trees are starting to bloom.
Our first tree bloomed, silver maple trees bloomed on February 28th last year or this year.
Hmm.
So keep tabs of all that. It's typically right around the first day of March, plus or minus a couple days.
Right. Scott wants to know how many pounds of dry sugar. I don't know if that's my questions. I don't put any dry sugar on mine, except for maybe a sugar brick once in a while. I pretty much make sugar water unless somebody else.
I make three pound bricks, and some of them will get two, and some of them will get one, depending how heavy they were when I did my little weight test when I closed them up. So
So
I
how do
don't
you
know if that answers this question.
weigh your hives, Tom?
I do the four finger test
Mhm.
just from experience. I got to lift tilt. All my hives overhang my stand about 2 inches, and I just tilt them up and say, "Oh, it took a little muscle to do that one. That's good." If I pick it up and I lift it up off the ground, I say, "Oh no, that one's bad."
Yeah, Shane, I took the bottle that was sent to me, and I poured it in the 40-gallon batch of sugar water with Hive Alive, along with Apis Biologic. I really can't say good or bad about it. To really see what it's going to do for me. The only thing I can say is Apis Biologic, from the experience I had from last winter to this spring, was that product is probably I would say it's the only product that I know of that actually proved itself to me as far as, the amount of bees, which, in reality, that's what you want. You want a huge population, to go into your honey production when the flow is on, to gather you the most amount of honey that you can. And that's what I really liked about that product. There's plenty of bees.
That's
As Ian would say, there's a box of bees, and definitely there was a box of bees in every one of my hives.
definitely when you use that product, you want to count backwards by 6 weeks and then start feeding, maybe 7 weeks, start feeding then. And,
Feeding what, pollen or?
no, Apis. And then
Apis.
by the time, let's say you have a flow that's 6 weeks away, you start feeding back, now, and then 6 weeks from now, you're going to have a, healthy population. You might want to even do it 7, 8 weeks. But yeah, it definitely.
At least 2 brood cycles ahead. Huh?
Oh, it'll kick off right away. I couldn't believe how many bees I had in my boxes this year. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was great.
I plan on hitting mine about, you said, about the middle of February to the end of February, because I know by the third week of March it's starting to flow.
Yeah, some of mine look like cell builders. That's how many bees were in them. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I I don't feed in the springtime, but I mean, like I say, they have all that food in there from the previous fall, and they're just eating it up and getting bigger, and the brood frames are just busting out really good and all that. And like I say, that's the only stuff that I'm spending my money on as far as right now. Yep. Brian from Flower Street said that Apis flipped the switch for his bees. You can buy Ziggy. You can buy Apis Biologic for pollen sub. I mean, you can also. I mean, I'm going to Nobby and I'm going to get 20 pounds of the global patties with Apis in it. I will say that my experience with it is that the sugar water does the most for you. I mean, the pollen is fine. I mean, if you get it out there early enough and all that. So,
Yeah, I feed my bees in the spring just one time. Well, late winter, basically. When it starts getting third week of February, we start warming. We get a few days of 60 degree weather, maybe
yeah.
70.
Hmm.
So that's about when I put it on. Well, we could still get 0 degrees the next week, but it starts warming up.
Well, the other thing I might do is I'm going to get these pollen patties, and I might throw them on in February and see whether that helps. I don't know. You have to watch yourself. You know, if you get too much bees in there, they might swarm on you real early. And
Yeah, well,
you have to watch yourself on all that.
my hives can't get big enough this year because I'm going to be doing as many nukes as possible without hurting my honey production.
Right.
Plan on taking one nuke out of every one of them, and then maybe a nuke and a half if it's got enough Apis biologics in it.
Right.
That's my game plan.
Well, we'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
I have put potties on in the springtime, but probably too late. Natural pollen was coming in, and I've used some pollen, these Apis pollen patties, more so in the fall, and they seem to be taking that, a little bit better. We'll see what happens there. I know that, like that single frame nuke that I was telling you about, I might throw a quarter patty on that just to give it something to, to eat, kind of help them out, get them through the winter, all that. So actually, the ones that Nobby comes in 10-pound bag or 10-pound boxes. So I bought 2 10-pound boxes. I don't really need to feed a lot of pollen around here.
Yeah.
I bought 10 pounds of it last year or this year, I guess it was, to kind of try it out. And I figured, well, I'll get 20 pounds of it this year. So
I usually have too much pollen in my area. When those poplar trees bloom, there's so much pollen. I have to wait to see if my hives get pollen bound. And then in the fall time, that goldenrod puts out a ton of pollen. And we got a lot of goldenrod in my area. So I think between
yeah,
those two, I'm usually pretty good on pollen.
yeah. Well, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to shut the stream down and call it a night because I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. And I know a lot of people here in the room do too.
Yeah,
So
same deal.
And like I say, remind everybody that I will not be on tomorrow night. I did put put a post out, and we'll see each other, as far as I know, next Friday. So good night, all.
Good
Hi,
night.
Charlie.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.